Hi, book club members. I'm Jen.
And I'm Carrie.
And this is Warhammer 40k Book Club, where we read from a crag. This is episode number 163, and our book is Voidscarred by Mike Brooks. It tells the story of Corsairs versus Orc pirates, so pirate v pirate. We posted several questions on our website, WH40kbookclub.com, and we encourage participation in our conversations via YouTube, our site, or Encrypted Box channel. Spoiler warning, if you haven't yet read the book, definitely check it out before listening to this episode, as we'll be discussing the book from start to finish in great detail. With that, let's dive in. As always, Carrie, did you like this book?
I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Yeah, we joked that we kept putting this one off. Like, watch this be like the one that we like the most. And well, darn it. And I've been wondering after we saw it was like way up there in Games Workshop's or the Black Library's, top 10 books of the year. I was like, well, dang. And part of me is like, maybe it's just because it's Mike Brooks. And another part of me is like, well, maybe it's just because it's the Eldari, because we really don't get any Eldari books. And the answer is, well, actually, it's just a really damn good book. So.
I mean, that pretty much sums it up. Yeah, we're going to talk more about this in a minute, but I mean, I've been begging for another romance novel in the 40k universe, and we got it. And we got it in the form of Elves v Orcs. And, like, this book
it's a tale as old as time.
It's true, really. Obviously, I have a few, like, niggling complaints. I don't know if you know this or not, but he wasn't truly a Corsair. His heart still belonged to Ilmarin. Anyways. She didn't kill her husband either. I have a few niggling complaints, but
yeah,
man.
So some of my niggling complaints about that, or was there a question that leads into this? Because I have some complaints about the romance in itself.
Oh, no, we have a whole question about the romance.
Okay,
we'll get
cool.
there. Yes. No, but, I had some niggling complaints, but other than that, man, I always enjoyed all of the orc stuff. I was a little, oh man, I was kind of hot or cold on it until about the midway point, and then it reached a point where I didn't want to put it down. I was reading the book aloud.
Chapter 20 for me.
It was maybe a couple before that for me. I don't remember the actual chapter, but I was reading this aloud. I literally read myself hoarse because neither my husband nor I wanted me to stop going, because we were both so emotionally invested in the story by that point. And yeah, and I gotta tell you, we bought this book and I was like, ew. I don't like the Eldari. I don't like the Corsairs.
Yeah, I was even
like the
complaining because I wasn't able to get a hard copy of the Remnant Blade. I can only get, the ebook. And I was like, man, I should have gotten the ebook of this. Why do I have this? I'm going to hate it. Meh. Well.
And you know what? We were just talking about this before the podcast about how, we should have read this last year. And nope. I actually am so happy that we saved this one, because talk about starting 2026 on a strong note.
Amen.
The rest of the books that we're reading this year are going to have to work real hard to beat Uzgul the Magnificent in terms of an antagonist.
Yep.
There's just a lot going on that. With that, what part stood out to you, Carrie?
Oh man, there's so much.
So much.
So much that stood out. Probably, honestly, God, I wrote his name down. I can't never remember how to say it. Gazrook. He honestly had the best commentary of everything.
Oh,
and I
my God.
wrote down one of his quotes that I'm going to find a way to use this in my real life because it was so brilliant. And it was when he was trying to, he was thinking, how can he explain that the idea of a gunkano is stupid and won't work? And the quote is, it was like trying to explain to your boss that he couldn't swallow the sun. Where did you start? Because haven't we all had those things like, where do I even begin to tell you what's wrong with this situation?
Right.
It is like telling someone that you can't swallow the sun.
By the way, though, that whole scene was excellent. As soon as they said, and that was when my husband and I actually were like, oh, we're going to like this book. Gunkano. As soon as he said Gunkano, and then what are you going to do with the magma lid? Oh my God. Mike Brooks, just the orcs. and he presents them so well. And like I already know that one of the quotes in here is definitely going to probably, or I shouldn't say definitely, but probably going to end up in my quotes of the year. And it's also from Gazaruk, and it's where it's after he, or right before he decides to blow up the bridge, and it's on page 233 when he said, "The scrawnies, who had previously been doing what Gazaruk would have grudgingly conceded was all right against the bridge crew, were totally thrown off their stride. Grudgingly conceded we're all right. They've killed like half the bridge crew."
Well, I also like in that same scene when he talked about how, orcs were just used to explosions and just were like, well, that happened, and just kept on going, where it totally, ruined what the Eldari's motive. And similar to that, when he was talking about his perfect boss would have a permissive attitude to localized explosions.
So good. So
Oh
good.
my
But
God.
I will also say he gets the elves. He really
Yeah.
does get the space elves.
Yes.
And we're going to talk a lot more about like Mirren, and we're going to talk more about this later, but just, I have so many quotes that I was like, man. Or maybe he's presenting it in a way that I also happen to subscribe to, but I just feel like he really presents them really well.
Yeah,
The other,
I agree. Like, between he gets the Aeldari, whether it's the Drukari or the Asuryani or the Corsairs, apparently, he gets them, just like he gets the orcs.
yes, I would absolutely agree with that. Yeah, I would 100% agree with that. I also, my example of that was one of the scenes that I just really, really enjoyed was when Zella described leaving Kamora, and she talked about just going and just doing nothing. She
Right.
just stared at something. She just stared at something. And just because she could.
Right. She was there for
What?
freedom. And that baffled Tainar's mind. Like, what do you mean freedom? Like, isn't that what you guys did? And she was like, that's hilarious.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk so much more about that. But yeah, it was a great scene. All right, let's talk really quickly. So we have not had another, like, actual, like, what I would classify as being a romance novel in the 40k universe since Honorbound. We've had books where there are romances in it, but they weren't like one of the main focal points and one of the central storylines or something that was undergirding a lot of the interactions, right? Really, Honorbound was the last one that we had. And yeah, I'm still a little pissed about that. It's not fair. Anyways, I'm not bitter. You are. We wanted another romance novel in the 40k universe, and we got it.
That said, I knew this was going to turn into a romance from the first time that Myron touched his forearm.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, okay, let's see where this is going. I have to say, Mike Brooks is not good at writing romance. It was so damn cheesy. I was like, I can't believe I'm listening. Like, I'd be barking a laugh.
I disagree entirely because of that reason.
When he said he just wanted to smell wood smoke, I rolled my eyes, and then immediately what I thought of was from Attack of the Clones when Anakin says he hates sand, it's coarse, and it gets everywhere. I like things that are soft and touches her skin. Like, you've just tapped into bad George Lucas writing, my friend. Now, however, after the romance was established, it was great. I liked the little nods and stuff, but up until it was like he was going to fall into these black pools of his eyes. Oh, stop. And I play Otome games, guys. I play cheesy romance, and it's not this bad. Oh my God.
Okay. So here's why I disagree with you so vehemently, and no pun intended. I have no other way to describe this, so please know that I am well aware that none of these people are Harlequins. It's an unfortunate coincidence, okay? No puns intended. Thank you. Anyways, it reminded me of like Harlequin-esque romance stories.
Those were bad too.
Oh my God. And the number of them that I read. Carrie, I have a box full of them. Joan Johnston is my jam. Don't get me even talking. Oh no, we're not going to go into that.
My mom read Danielle Steele, but wouldn't read those.
Oh, I hated Danielle Steele. No, Joan Johnston was actually not Harlequin, but she is definitely, she's like, Joan Johnston was like the next, what's the word I'm looking for? The more like modern contemporary version of Louis L'Amour. So Western romance, as everybody knows, I like my historical Western romance novels and my violent militaristic science fiction. Um, but it was that brand of cheesy that because there was the sweetness to it.
There's a
And
sweetness to me after. Up to it, I rolled my eyes and was just like,
oh
oh
God, no,
my
I was here
God,
for
this
it.
is so
No,
bad.
I don't want to say that I was like, oh, it's really good writing. It was cheesy AF. So cheesy, but it was my brand of cheese. Like it was, you know, when you get that grilled cheese and it's with the right type of cheese, whatever your right type of cheese is, and it's just that, you know, like the stretch between the, yeah, that's what this was the book equivalent of, is the stretch of the grilled cheese. And man, I was here for it. I ate it up.
Now, afterward, when he'd be looking back at him, or his heart, you know, when he'd be like, oh my God, he's hurt. Like, okay, this I can get behind because that's a little more subtle, it's a little more sweet. Not the pools of his eyes were black holes drawing him in. Stop it. No.
Nope, I was here for it. I was like, oh, stop you. Okay, so here's the thing that I will say really quickly, and I think people will understand. So my daughter, I recently turned my daughter onto like romance novels and stuff, and now she's eating them up. She can't read enough of them. But she actually reads, and this is something I'm going to give my Brooks credits to. She actually reads a lot of gay romance novels, like man on man, because there's a sweetness to them. And like one of the reasons I've been struggling with reading romance novels in the past like 5 or 6 years is that like it's hard to find a really good sweet romance novel. So this was so refreshing on so many levels. I was like, hey, it's a Warhammer 40k novel, but I was also like, man, what is it with the dudes? Like the dudes get the
So,
sweetness.
so
The dudes
honestly,
get the sweetness.
okay, so I used to read a lot of manga. I don't really that much anymore. And one thing I always noticed, and I really liked the shoujo genre, except to most, I would say about 80% of the shoujo, which is the manga written with girls in mind, typically is what it means. A lot of it is romance, but 80% of them that have the romance end in tragic, gut-wrenching ways. They don't end up together. You know what I'm talking about, so you used to read
Oh, I
this
know
stuff.
what you're talking about. I used to read this
They
shit.
never ended up together, or something stupid would happen. One of them died. It was awful. And the only
Yes.
way you could get a sweet romance was by reading not yaoi. I never went that far, but I think it's called like manga ai, like basically love. And so I'm talking about stuff like Gravitation. That's a really, really old one, but it's more about the sweetness of them, of the men admitting that they like each other, and then what they have to do to keep this romance going, because because shoujo is all the hetero, I guess, romance and manga is mostly about like they can't be together, they can't be happy, it's tragic love. And then
Right.
the gay romance in manga is all about, well, how are they getting together in this crazy world? So it's much sweeter, and it generally like hits more audiences, especially with women. And I think that there's a lot of this problem, honestly, in some of the romance stuff, that these too many things have to end tragically, or it's formulaic. And for whatever reason, like I don't like the girl on girl. I just don't. Like, y'all can whatever. It's never appealed to me. I've tried to read some of it. I just never could do it. But for something like the guy on guy, it's so, there's a sweetness to it that you don't get typically with the guy on girl stuff, unless you're reading the high
Yes.
school romances and manga, which I am 100% here for, because it's just sweet. That's actually why I play so much otome, is because it's sweet. It's not
Yes.
over, and that's
this
what I
was
liked about this.
sweet.
It's sweet. It's not pornographic. It's not,
Well, no.
uncomfortable.
And you know what the best part about it was? Similar to Honor Bound, this is 100% a romance novel.
Yeah.
And yet, it is still very much a 40k novel. It is very much a 40k novel. It's very much a Warhammer 40k romance novel, right?
Yep.
Like it doesn't ever veer off into let's just go away together and let's just go find, like, nope. These are two very purpose-driven people who have met. They've fallen in love. Like instant attraction, whatever, love at first sight, which is also just delightful. But then again, it was just kudos, Mike Brooks, kudos. That's all I can say without like totally doom spiraling down on this. Um, I thought that yes, it's super cheesy, but it was my brand of cheesy, and I was here for it. Like some of those super lame comments that he made with that kind of stuff, I was like, oh, yes,
Yeah, I
yes.
could have just
There
cut
was
all of
one
those.
scene.
Could have cut all of
Oh
those
God,
out. No.
there was one that I read, and I literally like I read it, and I just went. My husband was just crying. He was like, "Are you happy?" It's like I'm very happy. It's lame, and I love it.
You know, sometimes you just need a little sweet romance stuff, you know?
And it is nice to know that, and this is one of the reasons we've always said this, the personal connections, and this is why every year we have that best romance bromance category, is that,
Yeah.
again,
So if we
like
had
I
read
make
this
all of my,
last year, we actually would have had a real contender.
holy crap, like, I wouldn't even been like, it wouldn't even been a contest.
No.
Wouldn't even been like, I'm sorry, who else would have come in behind them, right? And like, again, like one of the things I make a lot of jokes about my giant soulless babies, but when two humans in the 40k universe, platonic or not, come together with like a connection, in this dark, cold, awful universe in which they live, that just warms the cockles of my dead black heart.
You know, maybe that's why we like the Caiaphas Cain books so much, because there's Caiaphas and Jurgen, to be sure. But then,
Oh
of course,
yeah.
there's Caiaphas and Amberley Vale.
There's a romance and a bromance that is just
Mm-hmm.
lovely. Yes, exactly. That's why we still talk about that guy and that man and that woman from Knights of Macragge. We still talk about
Oh,
this.
yeah. I loved that.
And I still look longingly at Honor Bound.
Where's my sequel,
Anyways,
Rachel Harrison? Where is
for
my
real.
sequel? I bought the limited edition and everything. Where is it?
Anyways, about Mirren Stormdawn, shall we? Did we like him as a leader, as a corsair, as
Yes.
a person?
I loved him. Loved
She
everything
really
about
loved him too.
Myron.
God, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Oh, did they say Myron in the audiobook?
Yep.
All right. I really loved Myron at first, like, and I knew from the beginning too. I was like, oh no, I'm gonna love this character.
Yep.
Absolutely wonderful character. He had the right amount of swagger, the right amount of sweetness for the romance, without ever feeling like weak or cheesy or like I don't know the word that I'm looking for, but he never had that sort of like, oh, now I'm in love and now I'm just kind of dumb. That a lot of, again, I read a lot of actual romance novels, so I
Twilight.
have to keep my head in the
Sorry.
game here. Yeah, pretty much. Exactly that. Thank you very much for that. um, he always felt very true to his character. He doesn't change when she meets Tanner. Like you
Mm-mm.
can tell that he's just like, nope, you're one of like he's had other lovers. You're one of them. I do care
Well, I
about you
mean,
greatly, but it
like,
doesn't change me as a person.
how long do these people live for? I mean,
Right? Um, my favorite line from him was on page 214 when they are attacking the orcs and when he says to Zella, that's the problem with you, Drukari. No sense of romance.
I love that as well.
Oh,
Because I could
he's still
also
my
totally
heart.
imagine her rolling her eyes to that
You guys,
response.
we're gonna talk more about her later, but I loved Zella. And if
Uh,
you would have told me before we read this book that I was gonna be in love with the Drukari character, I'd have told you to wash your mouth out with soap.
I loved her too.
Mm-hmm. I loved Mirren Stormdawn though. You absolutely understood why he did most of what he did. I understood his complaints. I understood why he loved the Corsair lifestyle. He was a good leader to his people. He cared about them.
Mm-hmm.
Leaving Jahandra on the ship wrecked me
Yep.
a little bit. Absolutely wrecked me. I'm still not over it.
Especially with,
And
because I was kind of flipping back for that, looking for certain quotes and stuff. And after I finished the book, obviously, and when she points to Zella and Israel, it's like, you two have to make sure he comes back and gets my spirit stone. It's like, well, crap. They're not going to help.
and look at the motley crew with which he surrounded himself. Like every character around him was excellent.
I
Um,
love the Baroness Elwyn.
um, she was amazing. immediately I knew that I was gonna like her, and
Right.
I liked how immediately game she was. I actually really loved him challenging Tashria. It made sense. It
Yep.
absolutely made sense. It wasn't just, oh, my lover's gone and done something stupid, so I guess now we're doing this. Nope. Nope. He did the math. He looked around. He did the math. I think Tanner just kind of gave him a good excuse.
Yeah, because I originally thought it was well, because he was going over there, I think originally to chastise Tanar. Like, do you know who you're talking to? Like, can you
No, he
please?
did not.
Well, obviously, he's like, can you please stop embarrassing me? I'm going to send you back to your ship until he saw what was actually going on. I actually loved in
Right.
that scene, to be honest, the fact that Skyhand and Tanar were able to put their duel on hold in the name of abolishing slavery.
Dude, Skyhand, like, I loved that character in general.
Yeah.
Like, that whole bit was great where they're like, no, actually, we can put this on hold because this is a bigger problem. I liked that when he leaves him to the orcs. I like at the end when he's like, actually, it's just kind of impressive that you survived.
And then
Absolutely
at the end,
wonderful.
they're like, let's go to the Daka planet and free our people like our prince wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And like, they're barons now. Let's do this. And we're going to go free. We're going to do what we started. I was like, oh, man, this kind of makes it, made me happy. Of course, it cracked me up
Yes.
when Zayla, he was just like, when Myron was asking Zayla, like, don't you see a problem with this? She's like, I grew up on Gamora. It's just a way of life, which kind of reminded me actually a lot of, made me think of a lot of Dragon Age versus, Teventer versus
Mm-hmm.
the Druids or even the Free City Elves. How
Mm-hmm.
life was. It was just known that they were slaves. Or even in, oh gosh, what was that other country? The one with the masked people, Orlais.
Or like,
The elves were a second-class citizen there too.
yep. No, I absolutely loved how she's like, no, I grew up in Kimura. That's pretty normal. Um,
Is it really
but
that
yet,
big of a deal? I mean, if we got to go kill some people, I guess, I promised I would. I am a blade sworn, but I'm not that upset over it.
right, she's gonna follow her captain, which again speaks to what a good leader Mirren is, right? That um, Myron, that his people followed him absolutely, and weren't like, except for Skyhand. Well, kind of Skyhand. No, Skyhand was actually good. He just, yeah, I understand why he was a little grumpy with Tanar. Um,
Well, yes. I mean, I understood the beef, which is why I thought it was so fitting that it was Skyhand who saved them at the end. And then the two of them went off together to go free some elves.
yep. Put your money where your mouth is. Did you like Tanar? Were you
Yep.
invested in him?
Yep. There was
And
hardly anybody in here I didn't like. Like, it'd be easier for me to list for you who I didn't like, to be honest.
was he a good outsider perspective into the Corsairs?
Oh, 100%. Because I loved, him trying to figure out in his mind, he was just like, well, in the craft world, what you would do is you would do everything you could to not defend anybody. And, because everything is all veiled. So it's all veiled insults and courtly manners, I guess you could say. I guess very much like I was saying with Dragon Age, Orlais, the game. We do everything we can to not have confrontation versus, so that was a really good, I think, contrast as he's trying to assimilate into the Corsairs. He's like, well, this is how I would do something. And wow, you guys are really bold and that's cool. You guys are fine with just speaking your mind. I could get behind this. So I thought that was great, especially when he's warring with his feelings versus the craft world versus being with the Corsairs, especially when you find out he's actually not really trying to be a Corsair. He's sent there on a mission to kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Infiltrate the Corsairs, just so he can keep Myron alive. So he's constantly warring with all of that. And also the funny thing is that when you find out that Rathar how much he hates all the Corsairs, yet he's there because you're like, I don't understand what's going on. When you find out, oh, they're actually on this secret mission. But so that's why he doesn't like any of them. But at the same time, he fits in with them better than everybody else because he's so brusque.
Right, right. I okay, so this actually ties into my next question, and I feel like this is the bulk of the conversation here with this book because God, I have so many thoughts and feelings on this. The craft worlders, the Drakari, the Corsairs, all of them kind of thumb their noses at each other as like,
Hmm.
oh no, we have figured out the right way. You guys are like in some gilded cage, but not us. We're free, or we're living life right, right. Man, are they really so different? Like when Tanner was really like evaluating, like, okay, this is where we are with, like, this is how I would behave in a craft world, but it's different here in the Corsairs, and I can do this. I have the freedom to do this. But then he immediately steps into a political trap when he's with Tishria, right?
Hmm.
He's running his mouth because he's like, oh, yeah, no, this is fine. This is great. I don't have to worry about all the courtly intrigue. Oh, no, no. You 100% still have to worry about the courtly intrigue.
Right.
Just wearing a different face.
It's just a different game. It's the same game,
Right.
but with different colored pieces.
Exactly. Exactly. You know where the ones are. Like, or you knew where they were in the craft world because that's where you were from. You're from Ilmarin. You understand how that game is played. I loved when he was talking with Zella, and he would be, he would talk about just like, well, aren't you guys free? And she's like, absolutely not. Like our lives are actually probably more rigid even than the craft world. I did love her absolute distrust of the Psychers, especially Rathar. Anyways,
Right. Was it? But also, this was a almost educational book for me as well. Like I didn't know that the psychic the prevalence to having the psyker abilities was bred out of Kimura. So I was like, wow,
oh, they kill you on sight.
that's interesting. It's like
Well,
again,
yeah,
like,
when your whole thing is keeping chaos at bay, psychers are bad. Okay.
but I'm not sure that's 100% true either. I think a lot of that is Vect keeping control. If they're psychers, then that means that his power could be usurped, right? So yes, so they have to play all these rules on the craft worlds, but is Vect really that much better? In a
No,
way,
but that's the thing that's funny is that
he's
they're
more
both looking
honest.
over. I 100% agree with that statement because again, like they're both looking at each other across their, figuratively speaking, across the webway, like, look at those guys not living right. And no, you guys have just created your own little gilded cages. And the Corsairs very much have their own rules and their own,
Yep.
like when he steps in to kill, when Tanner kills, oh my God, Skyhand's captain, whose name just
Um,
totally
Elisar.
Elisar Elisandor. When he kills Elisar Elisandor, right? There were rules about like you can't just now I have to keep up. Now I have to keep up the. I have to keep up with our traditions, and I have to address this, and I can't do this, and I can't do that. Like
Yeah,
everywhere the
but he
Eldari
actually
go,
he followed the rules.
he did. He did. He
He
followed the letter of the rules.
he found the legal loophole.
He absolutely found the legal loophole, but even Myron knew. Yeah, but societally that's not going to work. So it was just what was interesting to me is it feels like everywhere the Eldari go, no matter whatever label they're wearing for themselves, they create these very strict, rigid social structures, right? They're bored aristocrats, which we've always said about the Eldari, but they're just bored aristocrats.
Well, that and sure they don't have Vect, but they have their prince and princesses, right? In this case, it's Tishria, who takes like
Yes.
a lot of their plunder and apparently is now in when he goes to visit hers and wants to show off, like, look what I took from all of you.
Yeah, and she's now buddy buddy with Kamara. So what does that
Mm.
tell you about your Corsair lifestyle? I did.
Hey,
One of the best
hey,
things.
they have the best colored slaves in society. Okay, where else can she get something that's going to match
Okay,
her handbag? God.
that's a good point. I hadn't thought of it like
Yeah.
that. She's probably got at least two Kimura and Birkin bags.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Totally.
but it's fashion references. Um, one of the things that I really found fascinating. I've always found this very interesting with the Eldari in general, is how they do walk along whichever path you choose. There's a line, right? And
Right.
we've always seen this in our books. There's a line. And I really liked in the beginning when Myron was explaining that to Tanar, when he was like, yeah, you give in to your impulses and your desires, yeah, because we're free of the Corsairs, we're living this bohemian lifestyle, but we're not hedonists. So like don't
Right.
enjoy the bohemian lifestyle, but don't take it too far. Enjoy killing Elisar Elisandor,
But
but
don't become
not
an Exodite
too
over it.
much. Yeah, exactly. Not too much, right? None of everything in moderation, I guess. Which, when you come from like a very sturgid, do not, do not show emotion, do not do anything, and then on the other hand, you have the Camorrans, right? And then you have this sort of, I don't know, watching the idea of them all balancing, right? And like, okay, I can't. That was really fun, but I can't get too into how fun it was.
Right, right.
A very, very interesting look into the Eldari. And again, I don't really care about the Eldari, and I really don't like them all that much. And yet, Mike Brooks has now made me like, damn, this is interesting.
Well, I never liked the Drakari because,
Right.
anyway, like the whole idea, we're going and raiding for funsies, but when the cops show up, everybody scatter. Like, please.
Right.
You guys are serious, like bored teenagers is what you all are. And then the Ayusarani are just so boring. Like I
God,
get,
they're dull.
and it's like their so-called leader, Uldrad, who I can't stand from the Horus Heresy days. Can't stand him from that. But at the same time, yeah, but he brought back Reboot. So, okay, fine. So you're a part of the Cabal, but then you brought back Reboot. Oh, all right, I guess you're kind of cool. But I still find them boring. But the Corsairs, I'm like, well, no, this is a faction of the Eldar I can get behind because they're a little more interesting.
They are. There's something very interesting about a group of people. The idea of pirates in general, the idea of a neutral faction, as it were, is not something we come across often in 40k,
Right.
right? Because there is very much a you're either with us or against us mentality of all of the factions, right? So I do like this. We're Eldari. Like, we're not gonna let them kill. We're not gonna let a bunch of orcs kill a craft world. Um, but we also exist outside of that, and we're very much our own people. I really do like that idea. I like that concept. You know what it, oh God, you know what it kind of tapped into a little bit? There was a little bit of Firefly in this for me. There's the Corsairs are kind of like space cowboys a little bit. Um, not in the, not in the Cowboy Bebop kind of way, but they do have this sort of space cowboyism about them that I really liked.
Yeah.
That is very interesting, but oh man, oh man. I don't know if Mike Brooks shares my feelings on the Farseers, or if I was just doing a lot of reading into what he was doing with the Farseers, but man, do I hate the Farseers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. The whole ending there with the Farseer, I was like, oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me why I hate these people.
100%.
And that
I
one,
would so agree. Like, I didn't see any of that. Like, again, like the big twist at the end, did not see that coming. That we saw our end coming. We know that we need this pirate to save us, but how do we make sure that we know why this pirate will come and save us? Aha. We're going to send these certain orcs against him and let them know where he is 2 times, and then happen to tell our poor admiral, who's really, really good at what he does, where he will be, where we think he will be. Yes, and he happens to come in and save the day. And turns out it was all a ruse. And then he's like, well, he's like, okay, but we saved you guys now. We have to go save the rest of them because they're still Aeldari. He's like, but they're not our Aeldari. What do we care?
yeah, well, oh my God, that, okay, let's break that down bit by bit. So first off, yes, So as soon as they come out of the webway and they see Ilmarin there, I was like, okay, so wow, there it is, right there it is. That's him saving them, right?
Yeah, that's
And I did like how
immediately what I
Tanner
thought.
was. Hmm.
And Taynar was just like, I
And I
don't know
did.
what this means. This is like, was not supposed to, you know.
Well, I liked how he's like surprised because
Yeah,
he's like, well, but we like usually the Farseers are playing the long game. This is like a really quick game. Oh, and then no, no. To your point, you find that, oh, no, 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 this is the long game. You were just the piece that came in towards the end of the game. You were the NPC who joined in Act 3.
right.
But no, this has been going on for a while because I liked, to your point, when he reveals, yeah, no, we're the ones who told the orcs where to find him, so that, where to find Myron, so that then Myron would have a grudge against these guys. Oh, and BT Dubs, the whole reason that we have Osgold the Magnificent to begin with, we basically created this dealing with another problem back in Act 1,
Right.
which happened well outside of the book. And that is just, and I love the way that they just casually dismiss that. Oh, just, mm, mm, mm. So nice, right? Like, oh, well, yeah, we're the ones who empowered us, Golden and the Magnificent, to become big because we were dealing with this other clan. Well, we couldn't let that clan get big, obviously. Oh my God. All you guys do is create problems for yourselves to fix in the future. That's all you're doing.
Which is like one of my issues has been with the prognosticators with the Grey Knights as well. I feel like they create so many self-fulfilling prophecies.
Oh my
Just,
God, yes.
yeah. Which, just kind of goes into, I think a lot of books, a lot of movies, they get into this whole thing about self-fulfilling prophecies. Like, did this happen because you were expecting the prophecy? Or like, would this have happened if you even knew what to look for? Right.
Right.
So, yeah. But then, however, though, when Rathar learns that, oh, by the way, Cayman didn't tell the other Farseers and just did this on his own. And none of them are pleased because they're like, well, now we've lost Taynar. Are you happy?
Yeah, now we've lost this.
We've
And
lost
that's the
like
other
more
thing.
than half of his fleet because they pointed out that, Rathar was only like one of like very few that returned. Like, is it
Well,
worth
and
the
to your
cost?
going back to a comment you made earlier, yeah, Asdrubale Vecht, maybe just a slightly more honest version of what's going on here, right?
Exactly.
He has zero qualms about the people he sacrifices, the death that incurs, and the way that they live, right? He's very up in the open about it. This is what it's like here, and this is what it takes to ensure our survival. Whereas the Farseers, oh no, 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 we're trying to do this, that, and the other thing, right? Like, oh, look at all these things that we're looking at, and okay, so I've moved Taynar into this place because 3 books ago or 3 acts in my story ago, I had moved this piece, which then created this problem. So then I had to move this piece, which then created this problem, and then blah, 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 blah. And then Taynar, I moved him in there. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. It's going to be great. Okay, so now we've just lost one of our major admirals and several ships. Oh, by the way, for those of us playing at home too, we already lost Myron too. So you've lost us 2 admirals and 2 sections of our fleet
Right.
with this stupid nonsense. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, omelets and eggs, right? Well, we've just lost a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, and he's like, it's all going to work out because they'll come back to the fold eventually. They got centuries to
Totally.
live. It's going to be fine. And I love that that Dermiel was like, yes, but you will not be here to see that. I was like,
Yeah.
like, well, and then Rathar looking all shocked, and he's like, oh my god, I backed the wrong horse. Yeah, buddy,
Oh,
you kind of did.
yeah. Yeah, you did, and I expected so much better from him. I really
No,
did. I
because
was
I really liked him
disappointed.
up until that point.
Same.
I
And I,
loved
ooh,
his battle with Tishria's Farseer. That was amazing.
yes, it was so good. I loved that. I thought I thought he was great in general, and then yeah, I was so disappointed in him. Like as soon as he realized that Cayman, that he did not tell the other Farseers that this was off the books.
Hmm.
I would have expected much more of a reaction. Instead, he's just like, oh, I do. And he has to know that life is not long for him either, because Cayman even recognizes, he's like, yeah, ooh, there's doubt there, and now he's less useful to me.
Right.
But again, they cloak themselves in this, like, these are people, the Farseers have cloaked themselves in this, I am ensuring the survival of my people.
What is that
No, 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 no,
saying?
no, no.
What is that saying? The road to hell is paved with good
Paved with
intentions.
good intentions. Oh, 100%. So yeah, maybe Kimura is just a little more of an honest version of this. Oh, okay, let's talk really quickly. Let's talk about Asgul the Magnificent, because we have not yet talked about the orcs, who are the other shining beacon of this book. Oh my god. First off, was Asgul a good antagonist?
Yes. Oh my, he was everything you'd expect a war boss to be, especially like a freebooting a war boss. Just, I mean, everything about him, like when the mech is trying to explain things and he's just like, trying to say that I'm dumb, and the mech's like, oh, I meant like it's, it kind of means like this. And he's like, yeah, that's right. That is how it is. And how he comes up with these ideas like the gun Kano. Oh my God. Expecting
Oh
sharks to
my
come out of it
god.
next, to be totally honest.
Oh my
Because,
god, a good Kano.
although, he's like, look, like, behold my stuff. And he's like,
The five pointed hat too, by the way.
right?
Oh, oh, so good. Here's why I love those girls so much, and this is spoiler alert for the end of the year. This is definitely going to come back into play. Is that he is a terrifying antagonist. He's funny. He's everything an orc should be, right?
Right.
He's funny. He's clever. He has all these like really silly things. He's responsible for a lot of like zany moments, but he's also a terrifying antagonist, because the part where you see this is in that first space battle when they exit the war, when they first exit the webway in front of Ilmarin, and they're like, "Oh my god, he actually has control over his fleet. Like, they're not like all breaking off and fighting each other yet. They are, as soon as he turns his attention away, because the orcs are their own worst enemies, right?
Right.
But the fact that he actually has like some form of tactics, and the fact that he also put together the thing about like, actually, yeah, no, these guys make the best slaves. Like,
Right.
these guys are, wow. Like, he's got actual plans for stuff. And the gun Kano is stupid, yes, and with the lid, right? Like, the lid is amazing. Just no notes. But like, he absolutely has, and I do love when he's looking through the make bigger glasses, and he's like, "Where are the boys?" Like, no, no, the boys got killed. Oh God, I turned my back on these guys 30 seconds.
Right.
It was a little bit longer than that, but again, he really did show like what the orcs are capable of, and it's terrifying.
If they actually can get organized, yes. Which
Yes,
is why
yes,
Gaz Thraka is
absolutely.
such a horrible threat. Because he's able to unify everybody and get them all on the same page. So,
100%.
yeah,
Yeah, he is. And then Gazruk also is terrifying, because he
he's
absolutely
smart,
has.
super smart, like probably smarter than any mech should be, because he's never going to find a war boss that's going to put up with him for long, which is, he pretty much kind of said that.
Here's the thing, though, and this is the thing about the mechs that I always love about the orcs. Can you look me in the eye and honestly tell me that he has less of an understanding for the stuff that he's doing than the tech priests do for the stuff that they're doing?
Oh, I think you might know a little bit more about what he's doing. Like when he comes up with the idea of using the spirit stones to track them down. My God.
Yeah. Yes, exactly that. And there's something, I don't know, maybe on the theme of honesty here, maybe they're just a more honest version of the AdMech, right? That they, at least, say what you will about Orcish technology, at least they know, big air quotes around it, right? A lot of it's just their belief, but at least they know what's going into it and why it's working,
Right.
or sort of. I absolutely loved them. Like, they were a great pair too. Talk about a nice odd couple pair.
Yeah.
I loved some of his quips. I loved his reaction to the gun Kano, where he's like, "Oh no." That
Or when he's
internal
looking at the
monologue was
rockets
wonderful.
on one side of the planet, he's like, well, how are you going to make it turn or stop?
Right. So good. So good. Absolutely so good. Absolutely loved them. And now I have to ask the question. What happens to... Okay, I have a few questions about other people, but first let's start with Gazrak. What happens to Gazrak?
Oh, man.
Are we going to see him again?
Oh, probably. I love the fact that the grot was like following after him. It's like, maybe you might need me to be throwing at some scrawnies because he just wants to go with him
I
so
love
badly.
when he just looks at him and he's like, shuttle?
Yeah.
Gazrak is like, what are you talking about? I figured we were going to escape to a shuttle. Good. Oh, good.
After
Like,
he's
you
like,
got some logic.
tell
Let's
Ozgol
go.
I'll be back in just a few seconds.
Oh, poor Bashgut. I want you guys to know I was devastated. I think it's Tanner who goes up there and he sees the guy, the orc who's like holding junk and he's trying to look for a trigger and then he kills him. I was like, oh, poor Bashgut. He'd be sad. I want to see Gazrak again. And
Yeah,
like
I
he
do
could,
too.
right? Because he escaped. Like I absolutely feel like he can attach himself to another war boss and maybe he'll show up in Uthok Blackhawk's books.
Yeah. I mean, as long as
I
he's
want
somewhere,
Gazrak.
maybe he'll actually find that war boss that, is cool with localized explosions.
I feel like he will because, they all enjoy a good explosion.
Yep.
I feel like we're going to have a good point there.
That's the fact that Ozgol was all mad that there was no explosion in space. And even
That
Gosrell
logic,
was
by
like,
the way.
of course there are no explosions in space. He's like, I don't know why, but there just aren't.
No, that whole explanation where he's like, yeah, no, they don't bang. And he's like, well, I've heard that it's because there's no air, but that makes zero sense because I've never seen lungs in space and there's no ears on lungs. Like,
Right.
that was the best orc logic. This is so wonderful. Like, I was reading through it and I was like, oh, no, yeah, actually, that's sound orc logic. This all
Yes.
tracks.
Just I was listening to it in my car driving my kid home from school. And I was cackling at that.
So good. I definitely want to see Gazrak again. And Mike Brooks does have a tendency in his orc books to like bring people together.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that.
Well, I mean, even in this one, when he mentioned a raid by a certain Queen of Knives, I'm like, aha, I wonder if this was the one possibly mentioned when they decided to go break curfew and go raiding for funsies.
100% was that one, which is great. All right, Zella.
Oh, yes, it all comes together.
Oh, poor Zella.
Oh, man, Zella.
Her coming out of the warp was amazing. When she kicks the bag and then like she's looking at her backpack, which by the way, Gazrak calling it a shell back.
Right.
Wonderful. But, oh man, poor Zella. What happens to her next?
I had wondered what that blink technology was. Like, it made me think a lot of, X-Men references. Nightcrawler. There was one episode of, I think it was X-Men Evolution, really old cartoon, a while back, where Forge decided to slow down his BAM thing to see where he goes, to find out he actually goes through limbo, which is terrifying, which is why he does it so fast. So I was wondering, is she popping in and out of the warp? So the fact that, when she came out and she's, basically like wildly going around at everything, and then she realized where she is and she's like releasing her, like unclenching her fists to release the knives, and the knives are basically down to stubbles. It's like, oh man, did she have a bad time?
Had a bad time. And I loved the whole thing. Like, God, man, this character deserved better, which is a weird thing to say for Jukari and an ex-Hecatrix at that part too. But I absolutely loved that. I loved the whole scene when she gets zapped and she looks over at Myron and she has like that terror look on her face, and he's like, that's new. And then,
And when she disappears, he's like, this is not how it's supposed to be. She's not supposed to disappear.
oh my God. And when they're like, where's Zella? And he's like, lost in the warp. Oh, that's bad for any Eldari. That's bad. Like, she's going to have a bad time. Okay. But man, is she a badass that she comes out on the other side of it. And not in the way that drug addict did. Silent Hunters. Where Slaanesh was like, ah, oh my God, no.
Bad taste. Bad taste.
Bad taste, bad taste. Ah! Uh, no, 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 nothing like that. No, she fights her way out of there. Incredible. And nobody deserved that more than she did in that moment. Holy cow. But it's also like terrifying, the idea of an Eldari or Drukhari being lost in the warp and
Right.
then just randomly gets spit out. What happens to her now?
Man. You know, my head canon. She's able to get a signal out somehow or steal something to go try to find Myron because she knows the different ways. She can find the web ways and all of that. And she eventually finds him. Just like in my head canon, Myron and Taynar make up and they're living their happy Corsair life together.
Oh, they 100% are.
Yep.
He made him a baron. That is like...
And, you know, when Myron was running the scenarios, when he saw Taynar line up with Ilmar and he was like, when he realized like, it's like he was always meant to be there. Okay, what does this mean? And he was immediately going through the scenarios like, I want to destroy all of Myron and then yank, you know, Taynar out and ask him what he was doing or have him plead that he didn't mean anything by it and that he would never disobey me again, just like that. These are not things that a prince does to an underling. This is something a boyfriend thinks about that. I think he might have betrayed me. So I love that whole thing. It's just unfortunate it took, you know, Zella screaming his name, him like, oh crap, the buzzsaws on an orc ship are not good coming at me.
So amazing, by the way. Just giant saws coming out to saw
Oh
onto
yeah.
the ship.
I love his comment like, well, this is probably the closest thing to combat that that space orcs can do, but okay.
Right. I would absolutely... okay. They absolutely are going to make up. Everything's going to be fine. They're going to make up. He's a baron for him now. They're going to kiss and make up.
I mean, he
literally.
and Skyhand have made up. The reason why he and Myron can't.
100%. And Myron clearly cares about him, and he clearly cares about Myron. And he came back and rescued him and dragged him out of that ship. So yeah, they're going to kiss and make up, literally.
Mm-hmm.
They can have some hate sex. It's going to be great.
He's going to get the feeling in his legs back. It's all good. He's just going to go sleep he's going to go sleep in the trees for a while.
Go sleep in the trees. The homunculus is going to work on him, and maybe he'll get use of his legs again. Oh god, I don't know about that one, guys. But Stella, I love your headcanon, and I would like to subscribe to your newsletter. I want her to get some type of signal
every Friday.
Excellent. I would love for her to get out and find her way back to Myron, find her back to a Corsair fleet. Like, girl deserves better. Girl deserves to go and do something. Like, you survived the warp. She's never going to be the same.
No.
I mean, she's still going to be dangerous, but...
Or maybe she does go back to Myron, but now she has her own ship, so she's going to be a baron or a captain.
I love her being his second in command, because she was
that. Perfect as
Myron needs that.
Yep.
He's got that swagger and that cocksureness about him. He needs to have someone who is not afraid to tell him, you're being dumb right now. Even if he ignores her, he needs that presence in his life, and she serves that perfectly. So, God, I hope she gets back to him.
Probably one of my favorite scenes with her was when she's yelling at him. It's like, this is all your fault. And he's putting all these reasons of why it's really not. She's like, right. But this all goes back to, it's your fault.
I did like that. He needs her in his life. And goddamn, you don't survive going through the warp to then, not have any type of good stuff happen to you. Come on.
Hasn't her life been hard
Maybe you
enough?
do. Exactly. Exactly that. Ugh. I loved this book, and I kind of want a sequel to it. I want another one. I want to see what their next adventures are. I need to see how Zella gets back to them, because she's going to.
Yes.
What does Gazruk do with his life? Maybe he can appear in a different book. I don't know, but I would like to see more of the Corsairs.
I would like to see Gazrick with Uthrak.
Be good. That would be a good one. But
Or
really, I just want more of Taynar and Myron.
or if
Zella.
Mike Brooks decides he wants to write more about some freebooters, I'm here for that too. If Gazrick wants to go find for some more
Yes.
freebooters, because man, we ended the year with freebooters with the Red Gobbo book, and now we get to start the year with freebooters. Like, I feel like it's been my birthday. Just all those fun pirates. Never realized there was Eldari pirates. Love the concept. Finally found some Eldari that I don't hate. So I don't think, man, could he ever write?
You know what?
You know what? No, I'm not going to put that on him.
Here's the thing. I'm glad we read this book at the beginning of this year to like really like, oh man, like let's kickstart the year to a good, like off to a good start here.
This is the first year that we've kickstarted the year without a Dawn of Fire book. So
Yeah, that's also huge for us. But here's the thing. I'm worried that it set the bar really high for our next book.
Oh, about Necrons?
Tomb World.
That thing right there? Yeah.
Disavan.
I mean,
About the Necrons, you guys.
I haven't hated Jonathan D. Beer.
No, I haven't either.
But
I will say that a girl boss Necron was not on Bingo.
well, sure.
So I don't know, I guess we're gonna find out. Voidscarred really set the bar high. It was a great note. It was not Dawn of Fire.
Did Tomb World make the Black Library's top 10 list? I don't remember.
It did.
It did. Okay.
Or let me
Go to
double check that before I say that.
go to the internets and find out.
Going to the internets. Prepare to go to the internets. Going to the internets.
Hold music. Do 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 do.
Dun, 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 dun. Damn it, why can't I not find the stupid friggin'
Dun dun da 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 da. Da da.
girl from Ipanema goes walking when she... Yes, it made number 10. So it was
Okay.
down at the bottom. It was right below Remnant Blade.
Remnant Blade should have been higher. Sorry.
Voidscarred was number 2, and I gotta tell you.
Okay, well,
gotta tell you.
I mean, I agree with that now. What was number 1? I don't remember.
The Drop Site Massacre by John French, which
whatever.
doesn't fucking count.
Does not count.
Voidscarred beat out Interceptor City, which I would agree with.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I will say that our next book after that, Archimagos, came in at 4.
I am not sure, though, that if we did read this last year, Voidscarred beats out Relentless Dead. Just throwing that out there.
Oh my god. See, that's the other reason. Like, I'm super excited we read it this year because Relentless Dead was definitely up there. But yeah, I was here for my romance novel with my space elves. We'll see if we have. I don't think there's going to be any romance in Tomb World.
No, because no. Maybe if they reference back to when they were Necrontyr and they remember having families and stuff, maybe, but that'd be it.
Yeah, that's just depressing, though.
Yep.
Come on. That's just a depressing thing. I don't want that.
Yeah, so we're going to go from space elves to space robot zombies. Or is it space zombie robots?
Egyptian Terminators.
Oh, or that.
Yeah. a little trepidatious about that one, but you know what? It's going to be good. We're going into it with an open mind. I should have gone into it with more open mind on
I
this
mean, if
book.
Voidscarred taught me anything, I should have a more open mind about
100%.
Tomb World.
Hmm. Absolutely. Do you want to take us out,
Yeah,
Carrie?
I think I will. Otherwise, we're just going to keep on gushing at this book like all night long, and nobody really wants to hear that in the end. So maybe we'll do like a fan cast later. Yeah, that sounds like work. Never mind. You've listened to the Warhammer 40k book club episode regarding Voidscarred by Mike Brooks. Be sure to join us next time for Tomb World by Jonathan D. Beer. We are an unofficial book club and not affiliated with the Black Library or any of its affiliates, and you can find the vidcast and podcast on our website, WH40kbookclub.com. If you like this episode, please like, subscribe, give a review, and all those wonderful things to the vidcast on YouTube, Spotify, or Rumble, or the podcast. Literally anywhere you get podcasts. Come join the Discord. It's been really active in there lately. People are all chatty. It's kind of fun to watch. We have many great discussions. People share what they're painting. We have a great meme channel. It's kind of, some of the memes have been on fire lately. You guys got to come in there and see what the people are sharing. You don't have to hang out at Grimdank Reddit all the time. Come into our Discord. Our site also has articles about adventures in reading other Warhammer 40k books outside the book club books, so please stay a while and read from a crack. I need to get a new outline. I can't say I'm Alfarius anymore. That's just boring. I need to figure out something. If anyone has any suggestions, I'm open.
Yeah, gay space elf romance book was not on my bingo card for 2026, and
Is it
man,
really on anybody's bingo card?
the space elves. You know what? Let me just go back and say romance space elf book that I loved, not on my book list or
I
my
mean,
bingo card, and I'm here. We are for it. I am 100% here for it. And my God, I want to get a sequel to it so badly. I more romance in my life, please.
basically, I think what this means is that we need Mike Brooks to write just the Xenos, to be honest. He gets the Xenos so well.
Yes, he gets them so well.
I mean, I didn't like Lilith Hesperax at all, but I don't know what he could have done to make me like the Drukhari, to be totally honest. I think that of all the Eldar, I think the Corsairs just seem to be more my speed, what I personally prefer. Just because they're more fun. In my opinion, of course.
I don't know. I'm really gonna struggle. I'm gonna be contemplating this for probably most of the year, of whether or not it was that I like the Corsairs. I prefer the Corsairs over the two like main Eldari factions, or if just good characters make the book.
Yeah, but I don't
Good
know.
writing, good characters,
I
good
didn't like, but
writing.
there
I
was
was
nothing I liked
invested.
about Lilith Hesperax. I didn't like the characters. I didn't like the story. You know,
Yeah, I'll agree with that. But is it because we didn't like the character and the story, and maybe not necessarily the Drakari? I don't know. I honestly don't know the answer to that question. I just was not expecting to enjoy this book as much as I did, and man, was that a surprise and delight. And the romance portion was just 100% a surprise and delight. It was like, oh, this is
okay.
what this is going to be about.
I know
Hell
we're supposed to
yes.
be wrapping up, but hear me out here.
Okay,
Is it possibly that the
maybe.
Drukhari are better bridesmaids than their brides? Because think about the last
Mm,
Uthak Blackhawk book
mm.
that took place in Camorra, and how kind of fun that was reading. But there was a romance there too, in a weird
Well,
way.
think about Silent Hunters, right? Um, Silent Hunters also, maybe it is, maybe they're like the Black Templars and the Adeptus Sororitas.
Yeah,
Better side pieces.
right. Agreed. Well, that tells you about the Battle Sisters, because the Order of the Bloody Rose.
Okay, that's true. Yes, in Danny Ware's hand, the Order of the Bloody Rose is delightful. Um, yeah, I don't know. I again, this not a single thing about this book was on my radar, and and I'm also going to keep it really honest with you. It's entirely possible that the fact that there was a really nice, sweet romance in this book just totally also raised it higher.
Yes. But at the same time, honestly, like I said, chapter 20, and it was when Myron threw down the gauntlet of blood. I was like, I am here. This is amazing. Yep.
Yeah. As soon as he kind of starts thinking like, oh yeah, no, yeah, that's actually probably about the time where I was like, well, we're finishing this book now. So good. So good.
And with that, now we are out of here. So good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.